Yeah, I'm finding people and causes to put faith in as we expand empire, as we expand our opportunity, as we expand growth. And so faith, does it belong? Dude, I don't think it's a part of the puzzle. I think it is the puzzle. I think it's everything.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Have It All. I am Casey Green, your host, joined by Kris Krohn. Kris, I'm super excited today to talk to you about something that isn't typically talked about.
Whoa, where's Carson?
What? Sorry, yeah. Carson gets a hard pass today. He's out with his family, having a good time. It's our fall break here in Utah, so he's hanging with the kiddos. He's out messing around. So
we get to go from one CEO to the next CEO, and we got a lineup of CEOs. So basically, a CEO is always going to be hosting Have It All.
That's what we're aiming for, pretty
like
much.
it.
So we're going to talk about something today in business that isn't normally talked about, and sometimes is even taboo. We're going to talk about the topic of faith. And what is it? And what does it mean to believe? And is there room for it in your business?
Yeah.
So Kris, what to you, is there room for business or faith in your business?
So first of all, I don't care if you are part of organized religion or not. Everyone has faith.
Sure.
Because faith is what you choose to believe in. And so everyone has something that they're choosing to believe in. Even at like the most basic human level, we all have a belief system and we've made choices of what we choose to believe in. It's like, oh, I hate eggs as a source of protein, but I love salty pork. And so, I put faith in salty pork. Like we're all putting faith into something. I did this resolution thing and I want to lose, 30 pounds this year. And then I gave up afterward. Cool, your faith sucked. Like we all have faith. And I don't think it's a religious thing. I think that in general, spirituality, religiosity is taking a principle that is a part of everyday life, and then they're trying to do something with it. And they're talking about faith in a what? And is there faith in my business? Is there room for that? Like, what is my business if it doesn't? We just went through a freaking pandemic. We're like, there's a war happening on the other side of the world. I just got back from Ukraine. There's craziness afoot everywhere. You've got literally, UK's economy is collapsing right now because of their debt load. You've got the housing crisis in China that is very, very real. You got what's happening in Ukraine. Yeah. You've got energy crisis because Russia has all these sanctions and they're threatening to not divvy. Like we have problems in the world today. And how can you be a business owner, for example, and attempt to fix, heal, or improve your value proposition unless you're willing to put forth any faith into it? Because I think faith is ultimately what drives us at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. And it's intriguing to me as one of your employees, the amount of faith you put in us. Talk to us about how you have that faith in your employees to get you from point A to point B. How does that change your methodology, how you believe in your business and what it does for you?
Well, I think first I want to talk about what fear is, which sounds really bizarre on a conversation about faith, because my favorite definition of fear is putting faith in what you don't want.
Okay.
So in other words, we're all putting faith in something. And you're talking about faith in employees. Well, my employees are an extension of me. They're a leverage arm of me. And so years ago, we had to go through a crazy, crazy company purge because we had some members of our team. And I heard this from Barbara Corcoran the other day on a TikTok where she basically said, it only takes one sour apple to ruin the whole bushel.
Toxic, yeah.
Yeah. So we had to go through a purge process. We had to get rid of some people and it was painful. But then only then could everything actually start getting better, because truth is, we're putting faith in people and I'm putting faith. For example, I'm putting faith in you. You were just recently promoted to executive director. It's basically CEO. That's the next step inside the year, for one of my companies and organizations. And I'm putting faith in you based on what I've seen. I'm putting faith in your works. I'm putting faith in your mindset. I'm putting faith in choices you made. I mean, truth is, Casey, bro, I spent a year with you and I put you through the ultimate test.
You did.
Like some people that are listening are not aware that we have a whole set of health channels.
That's right.
And I pulled you out and I said, brother, this year you get to lose 100 pounds because I'm fearing for your family. I'm fearing for you. I'm fearing for how can you do all of these amazing things under the load of the fat suit that you are wearing that is costing you energy, producing fatigue. It's got to be producing disconnect in yourself or relationship. And that was concerning to me. And so it was me having faith in you that gave you an opportunity and said, hey, if I spend a year and give you all of the assignments and tell you what to do and put you through all these breakthrough processes and tell you what to eat and exercise the way I tell you to, would you do it? And brother, you put faith in me.
I did.
Like I put faith in you. And what was the result at the end of the year?
105-pound loss.
Yeah. And where are you at today? This is now several months later.
Yeah. So it's intriguing because I'm still at 105 pounds, but my muscle has come in like crazy. So I know that my body composition is changing. And it's just having that faith in the program and the plan that you set for me was massive. But even bigger than that, a mentor, believing in you as my mentor was huge for me.
I think that when you talk about companies today, a lot of people don't really understand. Well, since we're talking about faith, like let's talk about what it is that millennials and Gen Z want, because that's the upcoming generation. That's the workforce. And I don't think that they want to work for corporate cultures anymore.
I'd agree.
They don't want to do this stickler. You're not allowed to work from home. I don't trust you. You can't wear your pajamas. Like just all of this nonsense that's part of this old culture, like work hard, be professional. I'm like, actually, I think some of the hottest cultures in business today are ones where there's flexibility, where there's room for fun, where there's room for genuine connection that is real, authentic, and meaningful, and also where an employee can see their future in their employer.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a relationship. So how can I ask you or any member of your team to put faith in the company beyond providing a paycheck, if that's all it is, if they can't see their future in it? And so, I kind of look at a business as like, it's interesting. If you take religion as an example and look at like the beginning of time, every religion has their version of the creation story.
Yeah, to get the origin story.
Yeah, the origin story is it's a story of faith. And it's like, hey, let there be water, and then there was water. We need some light down there, and then the sun appeared, or however it went down. Yeah. Things were thought of, things were spoken, and then things happen. It's an expression of faith. For me, I look at a company as like the creation of a world. I'm going to bring these people together. We're going to organize these resources, and then we're going to create value in a way that doesn't exist. We're going to receive compensation for that, and then we can expand this world. We can hire more people. We can expand our propositions. If we're good at it and successful at it, this thing can turn into a small business, can turn into an empire. And the empire can do some tremendous good. But for people to be on board with that these days, well, first of all, it takes faith to build that. But second of all, 100%. You should ask yourself, if you're a business owner listening in, what are your employees believing in, and what do you want them to believe they're going to get out of it? Because if it's just a 9 to 5, then you're going to experience turnover. You're going to experience the uglier side of corporate life. You're going to experience drama, because you're not creating something meaningful enough. You're not creating something powerful enough, and you're not caring enough about your team's lives. So does faith have place in business? 1,000,000%.
I love that. So you've built some amazing businesses over your lifetime, and you continue to create and continue to bring that faith into not only what you're building, but passing that on to your employees. Talk to me about, as a business owner, as somebody who's looking to grow businesses, talk to me about the top 3 things you have to have faith in to build your business.
I think the first thing is you have to have faith in solutions versus problems. In our mind is either ruled more by positivity or negativity. We all have people in our life who everything is a what if, and everything is doubt, and everything is I can't, and you can't do that, right? We have those human beings. Those are not the humans that I like to associate with, spend time with, or invest in. Then you've got the other ones that are like, hey, I'm on a journey of not just positivity, but empowerment. Like, I believe in manifesting destiny. I believe that life has a purpose. I believe. So the first thing I would say is you have to have faith in not just solutions, but solution-oriented people.
Okay.
The second thing that you need to have faith in is yourself. If you're the leader, and by the way, you might be a manager, like whoever you are in your life, if you have any type of stewardship over other people or resources, you have to believe in yourself. From a religious point of view, people always talk about faith in God. Oh, God will save. I believe in God. God this, God that. I'm like, well, my personal experience is that in the God equation, you're on the other half. Like, God plus not you equals nothing. You plus no God equals nothing really meaningful. But you and God believing each other and yourselves, well, that's when everything becomes possible. So I think that aside from believing in solution-oriented people, you gotta put faith in people that believe in themselves. People that want to be genuinely empowered, that want to move the needle, that want to do something that makes a difference. A week ago, I was in Ukraine.
Right.
And I'm with 18 people, all of them there by choice. They believed that they were the one that could make an impact. Nearly everyone on that trip had donated somewhere between $100,000 on up to be able to participate in that mission that was designed to save lives and change lives. And we did just that. We extracted 12 people from a war zone on one day. We were feeding people in the orphanages and handing out food to people that were literally starving. And that work goes on every single day, and we're powering them with financial resources and leadership. And it takes people who believe in themselves to do that. The third thing that you should put faith in is a cause that you believe in. Some of us are doing some really lame things with our life, right? Like the recent Gallup poll said that like 85% of people don't like what they do for a living.
Oh.
And it's disgusting. And it's because they're out of alignment. And it's because they're prostitutes for profits. I'm doing this thing for a paycheck and I don't really believe in it. And I'm doing it just because I need money to pay my bills. And, maybe there's a time and a place for that. But at some point you better grow up, because you're not going to leave a legacy where you get to create any kind of value if you're wasting for money, a little bit of money, trading the best 40, 50, 60 hours of your life for something you don't really believe in. Find a cause that you can get behind, something that drives passion, something that you really can believe in. So bottom line is, believe in solution-oriented people that believe in themselves, and a cause that is worth everything.
And it's intriguing because there's so many. I have a pretty young workforce in my department, and a lot of them actually said that very same thing. They want something they can believe in.
Yes.
It's very much rampant through like the Gen Zs, the millennials. They're looking for that.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing. How do you, Kris, navigate? You have a ton of partnerships. You're becoming larger and larger, more and more successful. And we have really high-end people that we're doing deals with. Yeah. How do you navigate when you come into a partnership or relationship with somebody where you've got a ton of faith and they may be lacking in something?
Oh, then we're not going to do a deal.
Interesting.
No. Like, we get to have strengths and weaknesses.
Sure.
But you also have to have standards. And a lot of people suffer because they have the wrong standards. Like, before we talk about business, let's talk about a relationship with a significant other. Like, for me, I believe in God. God is an active part of my life. I believe that God gives me inspiration every single day because I'm asking questions and I'm seeking it. And if I were in a relationship, for example, with a woman that didn't believe in that, that would be very undermining to the foundation of what we want to build. That'll be, I think, undermining to the way we want to raise our 4 children together. I think that's going to be undermining in a lot of things. So you have to have standards. I have, morals that I uphold, and I'm not here to get on a high horse, so I'll give you a really simple one. I don't believe in ethical non-monogamy. Like, my wife and I aren't in a throuple, or we're not swinging, like we have a code.
Thruple's the weirdest word.
It's such a strange word. We have a code of what works for us and the way that we do us. And this is not a judgmental segment. This is I need to know where your standards are so I can see if we are similar enough so that we have commonality. So there's commonalities that I look for in standards with my partners. Now, a personal partnership with my wife is obviously different, but maybe not that different from a business partnership. We just entertained a fly-in, a very special fly-in from a group of 3 men that came in town to try our organization on, because they have a number of very successful businesses as we do. And we were looking at an ecosystem merger of, do we come together, because we had this cute little $1 billion idea. Yeah. And $1 billion is with time is like just not that big of a deal anymore. In truth, I think it's a $3 to $10 million idea. Yeah. And there's 3 partners that would have to come together. And the good news is, all we're doing is bundling something. We're going to take your thing and my thing and his thing and put them all together. And then we're going to franchise it. And then we're going to see, right now, there's someone that has a similar franchise. We can create 10 times the value than them. They already have 9-figure valuation. We can destroy them. Yeah. Now, by the way, the emphasis is not on using my faith to destroy people. But if you are going to be in business, you should believe in something. And my belief is that you should be number one. Not to beat them, but to be number one in your space, right? Sure. In business, you can either be the fastest, the cheapest, or the highest value proposition. In this case, we're not going to be the cheapest, but we are going to be the highest value proposition, and we're going to be the fastest. Yeah. So we can crush the 2 of the 3 corners of the triangle. You can never do all 3 unless it's rare. Won't diatribe on that. So what we did is we spent 2 days together. We went, shooting guns. We went and had dinner together. We got to meet some of our spouses. And the whole time was just, for me, it wasn't evaluating the business idea. That wasn't important. I already knew there was something there. And money can't be your standard. Money can't be the driver. Because remember, that's just a different form of prostitution. You have to have things that you believe in that are worth more than that. And the number one thing on all 3 of our lists at the end of the 2 days when we came together was friendship, family, and mutual shared guidance from each other's secrets of success in business. In other words, the biggest thing the greatest value that we saw at the end of the day was like, wow, sure, we could crush it in business together, but what we found was home, community, mutual respect, and affinity. And one of those individuals texted me yesterday and said, Kris, I've had epiphanies and dreams about this, and I'm ready to take the next step. And I said, brother, mutual on my side, let's go. Something really big is probably going to come from that. Let me ask you, since you are in those meetings.
I have the privilege to be there.
Yeah, what was your heart like as you were experiencing the interactions of these three different groups coming together to try on possibility?
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. At the end of that time, not only did we understand really well who each one of these partners would be, how they would act, what they would bring to the table, but the amount of admiration that each of us had for each other in that room was something really, really neat. It's you didn't leave the meetings feeling icky and wondering what if, but it was we discovered that, hey, this could be a really profitable and fruitful partnership together.
Yeah.
So just having that faith to even say, listen, we're going to try this on, see what it feels like. We're going to see if we have a good fit here. And man, it was a beautiful couple of days we had.
There was a lack of greed.
Oh,
and
100%.
More importantly, all parties are doing financially well enough they don't need each other.
Yep.
And so it's more about just finding the right fit. I think for me the most special part of the evening was unexpected. On the first evening, I was irritated over something, and I snapped at a member of my team.
Yeah,
I felt horrible about it. And one of these other gentlemen, he said he just kind of whispered in my ear on the way out. He's like, "Hey, I don't know if they're okay. You might want to say something to them." And then we all stood outside the restaurant together, and publicly, I pulled the person aside and I made a public apology. It was, for me, it was something I needed to do because of the level of respect that I have for this person, and I had no idea that experience was actually going to reveal some of the deeper meaning that group had for each other, because they watched me err. Mm-hmm. They watched me make a mistake, and curious what I might do with it. For me, I just wanted nothing more than to fall into good grace again with my friend that I had disrespected in that comment. And I think that meant something to the group. And so, I'm finding people and causes to put faith in as we expand empire, as we expand our opportunity, as we expand growth. And so faith, does it belong? Dude, I don't think it's a part of the puzzle. I think it is the puzzle. I think it's everything.